Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakathah for the brothers. Yahweh Shema Alathah Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Barakathah for the sisters. This is the ISUPK Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under the commanding General Yahana. I'm Police Officer Shadow Rock 1000, and we coming live to you tonight, the Wednesday night law class, and we're going to get on the topic called war. War, and what does war, according to blacks and Hispanics? Prepare for war. Okay, so that's going to be the topic. That's what I'm going to be speaking on. It's not no foreign news that America has bombed Iran. Iran has gotten bombed and is getting they're doing airstrikes, and it's a mess over there. You know, I looked at the plot of their bombing, their targeting scheme, and Iraq has gotten hit. Of course, Iran has gotten hit. Arabia has gotten hit. What is it? I believe it's Syria has gotten hit. Okay, so you can check me on Syria. I'm not sure if Syria got hit, but I'm almost sure it did. So we need to understand, man. The airstrikes is going. Those missiles are going. In the Bible, they call it the glittering sword. Okay, I'm gonna look that up too. All right, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shabarakatha, brother Yaramah. So last night, hey, how you doing? How you doing, warrior? Great that you tuning in, man. All right, so I'm gonna go into let's look at what it says. Let's first, you know, I usually started off with it, but I'm gonna start it off again with it. We're gonna go to Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3. You know, we're going to go to Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3. All of the time that UPK has been going, all right, that's good. You're doing good, warrior. Excellent. You know, all the time ISUPK has been teaching that war is on the horizon. All of our priests and prophets have been on these street corners, been yelled at, spit on, been attacked, been cursed at, and all of that for telling you the truth. That war is coming to America and that America is going to fall. Understand this. This is exactly what prophecy has been saying. That Bible is the most intelligent book on the planet because that Bible is the Constitution for blacks, Hispanics, and so-called Native Indian people. That's our real Constitution. It's not the Constitution in America. Matter of fact, we are not Americans, really. You understand? We're Israelites. We're the 12 tribes of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the 12 tribes of Jacob. Okay? Understand that. So doing what we're doing and all these things that we're going against each other with, it's going to all come to naught. We're going to need each other in these end times. This war is on the horizon. All right, Trooper Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yashai Barakathah, brother, glad you joined. Sister Kapah, Yahweh Shema Elathah Shem Yahweh, sis, glad you could join. Welcome. All right, this war is on the horizon. Y'all coming out of California, out of Cali. That's our Cali camp, of course. All right, look, it's just prevalent that these things are taking place. There's warships lined up in Arabia. There's warships lined up in the Red Sea. There's warships lined up in the other seas that are surrounding Iraq and Iran that are in the area. They're not. I don't believe they're surrounded in the sea, but those seas and those bodies of water are lined with U.S. ships. United States ships. And from what I understand, two submarines have already destroyed two ships, two Iranian ships. All right. I believe they were warships. Okay. So we need to get on our P's and Q's as Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, because I'm speaking, and this school is only concerned about Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people and what you should be doing at this time. Okay. Shalom, sis. Olivia Arnold out of Cali. Shalom. Yahweh Shemala Thaba Shem Yahweh Shai, sis. Welcome. So this is just clear and present. Like it's like the movie, clear and present danger. But see, that's for our oppressor. Our oppressor need to send all their kids and put them on the front line. Get them on the front line out there. They need to be fighting Iran. They need to be going against their enemy, because that's their enemy. Their enemy, Israel and Iran, that's their enemies. Okay? We are the true Israelites as Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Don't make no mistake. Don't get that wrong. But those fake Jews, the son Amalek, all right, because I did a class on Amalek and the fake Jews, that's their kids. Amalek's children need to be on that front line. Them small hat folks. Them folks that eat the gefilte fish. Them folks that like the knish. All right? Them folks that sit up and eat the matzo balls and all of that. They need to be on that front line fighting. I don't know what y'all waiting for. Get on up there. Y'all sent our brothers to Vietnam. Drafted. I remember the draft. To Vietnam to fight your Asian enemies. When it wasn't our war, when y'all were fighting us. Y'all were fighting us here at home. We had the pig laws. We had the Jim Crow laws. We had all of the segregation. We had the black fountain and the white fountain. All right. There's a thing called the Blue Book, and it's a traveler's guide for any so-called Negro that was traveling in the South. You understand? Because it was clear and present danger in the South that you could be hung. When I was in the Marine Corps on Paris Island, where I trained at in boot camp, they told us if we tried to escape and we made it past the swamp and the alligators and the cottonmouth snakes, guess what? We got to make sure that we don't get killed if we make it past the rednecks. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. It's always been about race, man. It's always been about that. You know, they're not letting up on each other. Israelis and Iraqis and Iranians ain't letting up on trying to unalive each other, and they have not been letting up on trying to unalive us. I'm looking now, you know, I can see right now that they got these senators on the news right now, and they showing them ships with them glittering swords. Let's go to Exodus 15:3. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go to Exodus 15:3 real quick. All right, and it says, I had Exodus 3. Salaki, give me 1 second here. 15:3. All right, the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. We teach that. That's like a bedrock scripture for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under the commanding General Yohana. We teach that. Understand? God is a man of war. God is his name. God threw the Pharaoh and his armies into the Red Sea, where he crushed them and drowned them in the Red Sea. Imagine the sea being parted. Y'all know about when the firemen turn on that fire hose and he's spraying that fire, that water out there, that water will knock you off your feet, and that might damage you internally as well. Well, imagine a whole wall of water coming at you on both sides and crushing you in the midst of that water. That's what the Lord did. You tell me that ain't gangster? Most High is the biggest gangster you could ever come up against that you ain't winning, that you'll never win. And he ain't no damn gangster. He's the most terrible force in the universe. We serve the most terrible force in the universe in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under the commanding General Yohana. Most High ain't playing no games. He drowned the Pharaoh and the chariots for chasing us, our ancestors, out of Egypt, where we were being chased by the Pharaoh for our life, running for our lives. You know what I mean? Moses guided us. He parted that sea with the power from the Most High. Understand? He did that. So with that type of force and those type of actions, it don't tell you God is coming back to kiss you and he's your husband you Christians and you single black women and single Hispanic women and single whatever woman saying that God is your husband. He is not your husband. The Most High is a spirit. He created everything and everyone and every piece of land that you could see from above the earth, on the sides of the earth, and underneath the earth. Understand? And the Most High is a man of war. This terrible force is coming to this planet. He's sending 1 million black angels to this planet to destroy all of the strongholds, like your President Trump, like your Vladimir Putin, like all of your kings and queens, the kings and queens of England. All of them must come down. They don't know how to rule this earth, man. He's sending Christ, our king, who we waited for here in this school. He's sending Christ, Yahushua in the Hebrew, to this earth with the 1 million black angels. He's going to be leading them black angels when he gets here on them chariots, and he's going to destroy every single stronghold in this planet that have oppressed the children of Israel since day one. And I mean black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. We have been those ones, been oppressed in the ghettos, in the barrios, on the reservations. The Most High is coming and will plead our case. Let's get to the book of Joel. I just had that a little bit earlier. Let's get to the book of Joel. In Joel chapter 3. All right. I'll tell you, let's go to verse 1. This is Joel, the book of Joel, chapter 3. Those of you who are tuning in, this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under the commanding General Yahana, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Understand that we're here to teach that black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are the true chosen children of the Most High God, Yahweh in Hebrew. That's his name. All right. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. The Lord is going to bring the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, which means he's going to bring us out of this slavery that we're in. He's going to bring that captivity and take it off the hands of our oppressor. And he's not going to captivate us. He's going to free us. Judah, that's my tribe. I'm a so-called Negro. It's called Yahwadah in the Hebrew. That's the name of my tribe. Understand, the lion. That's our symbol. And the other 12 tribes have their symbols and their names. When you Hispanic and Native Indian, understand the Lord knows your persecution. He knows what you're going through. He knows your anguish. He knows your tirelessness. You're tired as all get out. He sees you in your afflictions, man. The Most High sends angels. You know how he knows? He sends angels to the earth. And when he sends those angels to the earth, those angels report back to him. They go through all these walls. You can't see the angels. They report to the Most High God our case. Just like in Egypt, when the Lord told Moses, when that burning bush, he said, I've seen the affliction of my people. I have heard their cries. Understand? Yeah, we sad. Understand, the Most High is going to send our sorrow to joy. It's coming real soon. It's time for us to get freed from this captivity. But we do have to stand firm and be ready for war, because we're going to have to fight as well. Eventually. Beginning our oppressor, let them get down. You know what I mean? That's right, Jeremiah. You damn right. That's right. The Most High is a spirit. I just said it. God's child, you don't listen to nothing, man. Or whoever you are. You talk about he's a spirit. I just said he's a spirit. And the book says, Exodus 15:3, that God is a man of war. We're shaped in his image. So God, child, I don't know what the hell you talking about. You're a false teacher. Wow. All right. So we got the welcome, brother. You a chapter of the Black Israelites or whatever group you coming through. Well, at least you in class. Come in class. Shalom. Corp man 2601. Understand that, man. God is a man of war. Understand that. If you don't believe it, I didn't say it. It's in the book. It says God is a man of war. All right. But we know that God is a spirit. The Bible speaks is not literal. The Bible's not literal sometimes. Sometimes it is literal, but sometimes it's figurative. Okay? You have to learn the context of what's in the Bible when it speaks of it. Because when it says mountains, sometimes that means governments. Don't come up in here thinking we up in here just fooling around. UPK, we have a pedigree and we have been chosen and we have been proven since 1969 that we hold this truth. You know what I mean? So a mountain can be figurative for a government, for the governments, and also trees for man. Did you know that? Okay, when we're talking context and we're talking literal. So let me get back up on this, man. All right, let me get back up on this. So, being as the Most High has done this, we know that he's going to go through these things. He's going to go and learn your cause and learn your case. So as we're in war, and America is really in war, approaching war, okay, that is to free us out of this captivity, man. That's to get us free out of this state, okay? Now, and you understand, the most I say, lift your voice as a trumpet, okay? All your voice, you have to be firm in this, man. So anyway, ain't no time to explain myself and all that. Y'all come on here with all this other stuff. Well, guess what? When the Most High come down here and figure out what you try to do and what you trying to go against this school, you in trouble. You in trouble. You the one that's going to have to go before Christ and say, why did you try to stop my prophets from teaching? Why did you get in there and interrupt what they're saying? If you're so great, go on your channel and teach your truth. Because we ain't worried about you teaching false stuff. Just don't come up over here with that nonsense. You're still going to get flagged. You understand? So anyway, so he's sending this. So let's get to, we said he's going to bring again the captivity of Jerusalem. Verse 2, I will also gather all nations and bring them down in the valley of Jehoshaphat. The valley of Jehoshaphat means the valley of decisions. That's where the decisions are going to be made. Each and every army on the face of the earth will be going down to the valley of decision, the valley of Jehoshaphat. And that's in southern Israel. Understand? And once they get there, the Lord is going to plead our case. Because as it says here, and will plead with them there for my people. And the Most High is not pleading like saying, oh, please. Just like I ain't saying, oh, please. Okay? When the Lord pleads, he pleads with taking your life. So he's going to be taking their lives. He's going to be putting them in affliction. And you're going to fall down with them if you're not understanding what's going on. There's only one truth in the earth, and that one truth is the ISUPK. Look us up. Look at our pedigree. We ain't worried about all that nonsense. All right. He said, I will plead with them there for my people. He's pleading with them for Jerusalem. He's pleading for them for the real Jews of the earth, the real Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the ones from Mexico that's getting deported right now. He's going to be pleading for them. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters, the Cubans, the Puerto Ricans, the Panamanians, all right, El Salvador, Guatemala, all right? He's going to be pleading for the so-called Native Indian, the First Nation people. He's going to plead for you, brother. Brothers and sisters, the Lord is not playing around with all these nations. That fight in World War III that's on the horizon is about us. It's about us. It always has been about us. You understand? And many times in ancient times, they've always come up against the truth with that nonsense or whatever they're saying. And they have always been shut down. And that's what we do here. We shut them down, shut them down. We shut them down, shut them down. False prophets don't have to be nowhere because we need to get that truth out here. Y'all need to hear what's uncut and raw, because the Lord's word is like the hammer that breaketh the stone and the fire that burneth the wood. That's God's word. It's strong, it's fierce, and it's real, man. It's masculine like a man ought to be. You understand? And you'll learn that here. Michael Love, Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Barakatah, brother from Cali. Welcome, brother. All right. Good to see y'all over here, man. Good to see y'all. Oh, yeah, Corp, man, I get paid. I get paid for doing this. You know what I get paid? I get paid the satisfaction of letting my people get their culture back. That's my payment. And my payment is a seat in the kingdom of the Most High God, Yahweh, in his kingdom. And as the governing class, we're going to be the government. Just like you see, for example, we're not going to be, definitely not going to be them, but we're going to be the new government that Christ puts down. I'm not even going to say their name. I don't even want to say their names because we ain't going to be nothing like no goddamn Democrats and Republicans. But yeah, I'm going to be part of that governing rulership in the government of my King Christ. All right? And he's going to pay me. That's what my payment is. And I'm paid in full, yo. All right? So that's what's up. You know what I mean? So these are the things that we need to know and understand, man. You know, it's eminent, man. So you have to be ready. You know, you got to be ready. The way you be ready and prepare yourself, which is the theme of this class tonight, is you need to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of God. You need to go into the book of Leviticus, understand what those laws mean. And I doubt if this Corkman dude attended any type of Purim, because Purim was last night. I didn't see you there. I did not see you in Purim. And if you wasn't in Purim, you wasn't following God. So you's a false prophet. And we get ready to go to Passover. By the way, Passover, Houston, Texas, April 4th. All right. And try to get down there like probably April 2nd or something. So, you could get with the events. It's going to be full of events. It's going to be the slaughtering of the lambs, the black party, the kids thing. It's going to be General Yohana's scripted breakdown. It's going to be great. Passover will be April 4th, that Saturday as well. We're going to sit up and we're going to eat the unleavened bread. We're going to eat the bitter herb. We're going to drink the wine. Understand? And we're going to eat the lamb, because that's what the Lord told me to do. I don't know what the Lord told you to do. Man, these folks are killing me. They're killing me with that nonsense. All right. So here we go. Now, it says, and for my heritage, Israel. See, that's the Lord's heritage, is Israel, because he made the promise and the contract with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He made it with Abraham. The covenant is the contract, the agreement. That's a contract, okay, of what he was going to do for us. We're the heirs to the throne. We're the heirs. We're the ones. We're the children. We're Jacob's children. Understand? So he's going to do that for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. Yeah, they parted the Lord's land. That's why they're shooting the missiles. That's why the missiles are being shot. That's our land. That's where we originated, out of ancient Palestine. We originated there. We're not from Africa. You know, you speak to most Negroes, they don't talk about plate lips and getting cut flesh on their skin and things like that. No. They just say, we may not know, but we know we were slaves. We know we were slaves. So you have slave ancestry on them cotton fields, Yahweh. And you still might be also you still might also be uh Israel, Yasharallah as well, because Israel is the other 10 tribes. Okay. You know, there's 12 tribes, but you know, anyway, for that, just understand you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, for time's sake, you're the children of Israel. You got slave ancestry from the transatlantic slave trade. You a so-called Negro. Okay. That's as far as I could trace my family back to. Understand? So this the deal. What's on my head? Who is JPZZ? What's on my head? It's called Uncovering My Head. This is like a crown. All right. My real crown is coming when my king comes back, Christ, and hands out our crowns for obeying him. But this is the crown. When we teach, we are commanded to uncover our heads. My head is uncovered. Understand? That's what that is. Just, you know. Okay. So let's get back with it. Okay. And they have casted lots for my people. They casted lots for our people. You understand? For that land. They were like, it's like shooting dice. It's like you shooting dice. You understand? Let me hit for 7 so I can get this part of the land. Let me hit for 4 so I can get this little boy. Let me get for 5 so I can get this little girl and rape her and do all kind of ungodly things to her. That's what happened to us, man. When we came out there, when Jerusalem got sacked in 70 AD by King Vespasian and the Titus, his son, King Titus, and Vespasian was the son of Rome. And by the way, when you do your history, understand that Rome was our enemy. That's Christ's enemy. Christ's enemy was the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and Rome. So Rome went to war with Jerusalem. He went to war with Israel, and he sacked Israel. He defeated Israel. He seized the land, and he sold the harlots for a bottle of wine. And he sold the sons, as it says right here. They have cast lots for my people. I'm at Joel 3 and verse 3. They have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. You know what I mean? That's what's going on, man. That's what happened to us. So the Lord is coming to plead for us in the valley of decision when he faces and turns all of those armies into the Middle East, down there in southern Israel. That's where Jehoshaphat is. All right. The valley of decision. Because he's going to plead our case right there. All right. So as it's going on with these wars, understand you need to prepare yourself, you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Okay. It is going to definitely be Claudia de Colette. Okay. Hopefully you part of our nation. Shalom. Shalom, sis. The other nations, and hopefully you mean them other nations, that every other nation, every single other nation is going to be dealt with. Right now, judgment. Judgment is coming to us as well, by the way. For judgment is coming for us in a way when we turn our back on our Hispanic brothers and our Hispanic brothers turn their back on us. When we turn our back on Native Indian and Native Indian turn their back on us, we're going to have that judgment as well as Black, Hispanic, and so-called natives. But the severe, serious judgment, that's coming for our oppressor, Esau, the Edomites, the small hats, the fake Jews, the East Indian, the African, all right, not Hispanic, the Pacific Islanders, okay, all of those who are not Israel are heathens, and judgment is coming to the heathens, and it's starting with this war right here. You understand? It's starting. It's not going to get ended. It's not going to end quick like that. It's going to escalate and escalate and escalate until it's going to come to a theater near you. You from the tribe of Levi, sis? So who is the tribe of Levi? I'm just asking. If you know the answer, tell me who's the tribe of Levi. Okay, so let's go to what this is, because you see all these missiles coming from these submarines, coming from these ships, and coming from the land. All right. Understand, this has all been prophesied. This has all been prophesied. Okay. And it's coming to pass. And if you're not ready and you don't have your head on, you're not coming up in this class to try to learn who you are and trying to learn this truth and stop listening to them knuckleheads. All right. You're gonna be swept off in it. Okay. Let me just run a real check real quick. Let's see. 32. Let's see. So it is eminent. Okay. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 41. It says, if I whet my glittering sword and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies. All right. That glittering sword is those missiles that you're seeing. Those missiles that you're seeing are the glittering sword. You know, them heathens are firing the glittering swords all over the place. You seeing them bombing up stuff, tearing up stuff, bombing people back into the Stone Age. Because that's what's happening. These nations are going to be bombed back into the Stone Age, America included. America included. Understand that. You think you safe here? You think you feeling safe? There's no avoiding the vengeance of the Most High God, Yahweh. He's causing those nations to do what they're doing. He's making those glittering swords. Who is your father, sis? I'm gonna say it loosely until I know who you are. You from the tribe of Levi. You preferred to the Americans as Latinos, not Hispanic. Okay, are you Hispanic? Okay, your mother is Issachar, but you're not telling me what land are they from? You know, like I said, my people come from the transatlantic slave trade. They were slaves and working on the cotton fields. Okay, I know here in America. So we the Negroes. See, we have a 12 tribe chart here. So I want to, you need to let me know, who was your father? Where is your father from? I'm not picking on you. I just want to, you know, I'm just curious, understanding since you came on. Okay, so if I'm gonna read it again, this is Deuteronomy 32 and chapter 41. If I whet my glittering sword and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies and reward them that hate me. See, they hated Christ too. So when you come on this channel and you talk to a police officer like me or the officers in this school, we ain't worried about you saying what you saying and going against us. We're used to that. We're ready to argue. We're used to that. We're going to argue this word. We're going to prove this word right here. Because that's my job as a priest, to prove this word to you. Not just to tell you something that I said. I'm quoting out this Bible. You know what I mean? All right. Christ said, when they hate you, remember they hated me first. Was Christ's word popular? Was when Christ was walking this earth, was his word popular? Did everybody, in other words, what I'm saying, did everybody like his word? Did everybody really agree to his word? Did everybody say, oh yeah, Christ, you telling the truth. Let's hear it. No. I'm going to answer right now for time's sake. No, that's why he said, if they hate you, remember they hated me first. So we ain't worried about you. You come on, you know, because you can get off. Same time you came on, you can get off. Okay, your mother is Mexican. Your father's Creole, who came from Haiti, and we're brought from the land of Judah in the west. All right, you got that right, sis. All right, applaud yourself. Creole, if he's from Haiti, that's right. You damn right. You damn right. You're a Levite. You Levi. Do you know how you pronounce your? I'm gonna pronounce your Levite name just to give you some recognition. It's called Lawyer. In the Hebrew, it's pronounced lawyer. You're from the tribe of Lawyer. That's from the Southern Kingdom. The Southern Kingdom is for Black, Hispanic, and West Indian. So if you're a West Indian from Jamaica or Trinidad, or if you're a Haitian, or if you're a Negro, you were from the Southern Kingdom of Israel in the ancient days, when Israel was divided. It was divided right after King Solomon jacked itself up by going against God and dating and marrying all these different heathen women, and then they caused him to worship other gods. That's what happened to Solomon. So the kingdom was divided. The Lord divided the kingdom, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Okay. So there you go. Your mother is Mexican, and you were right by saying your mother is Issachar. That's right. Mexico is the tribe of Issachar. So I see you know the tribe, you know the chart. It seems like you know the chart, or somebody told you, I'm not sure. But however it may be, but you're correct in that. So anyway, back to the subject, all right? For verse 42, I will make my arrows drunk with blood. See, most of the time we sitting up in Sunday school at the Christian church and all of that, you thinking that Christ's gonna come back and kiss you because you came to church and you went to Sunday school. But little do you know, you celebrated Christmas. You celebrated Thanksgiving. You celebrated Easter. You just celebrated Valentine's Day. You ate some shrimp, crab, lobster, pork. You did all the things against the Lord. That's why the Lord's angry at us as his children, because a lot of us eat that. Us blacks are known for eating pork chops. Mexicans is known for that shrimp and that octopus. Ugh. All of that is unclean meat. All of that is going against the laws, statutes, and commandments. Those birthdays, those things that you celebrating, you worshiping yourself. That's why those missiles, you see those missiles flying right now. Put it all together. You know, we walked away from that. That's why our judgment has to come as well. But these nations are getting judged on a big scale because the Lord did not keep his promise with them. You understand? Let me get let me see. Let me see. I'll finish this. All right. And my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of thine slain of the captives from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. Okay. Verse 43. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. He didn't say the whole earth he's going to be merciful to. You understand? You sit up in the Christian church, they try to tell you the Christian church, everybody can be saved. Everybody cannot be saved. He's telling you God loves everybody. God don't love everybody. Okay? And then he gave his promises to us. Let me give y'all to Psalms 147. I'm gonna go to Psalms 147, verse 19. It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob. Who is Jacob? Jacob is the father of every Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian that you see on this planet. That's who our father is. We follow the God of, we are supposed to follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob's name is Jacob in the Hebrew. All right. So right here, it says, I'm gonna read it again. This is Psalms 147, verse 19. He sheweth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. It don't say nobody else. Did it say anybody? Did it say anybody else? He said it showed it to Israel. Jacob's name was changed to Israel in this Bible, by the way. Okay. Verse 20. He have not dealt so with any nation. He didn't show, in other words, he didn't show his word to any other nation but Israel. You know what I mean? And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. The Lord only showed his word to Jacob. He only showed his word to us. We're the ones he gave that Bible to. We're the ones that he wrote the 10 commandments for. And by the way, there's more than 10 commandments. There's 613 commandments. You understand? So we'll get into that too. You learn in this school. You know, you don't have to follow all 613 because most of them are for women and for the priests. But you are supposed to follow the dietary laws and the rest of the commandments, like thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not unalive anyone, thou shalt not bear false witness. Understand? Love those different commandments we're supposed to follow. So that's what the Lord said. Okay. In this time of war, let me get over here to Maccabees. And it's another thing about it. A lot of y'all are just reading what's in the King James Version, which is good, but you should buy the 1611 King James Version, which includes the Apocrypha, which is I'm getting ready to read now. All right, because the Apocrypha was written in the Bible, but they took it out during the Council of Nicaea. That's why it's a whole lot of these people coming up talk about, I don't know what I'm talking about. There's a lot they took out of the Bible. See, these other folks are stumbling blocks to you learning this truth. They're the stumbling blocks for you really hearing the truth. We go up against them every week. We go into camp. Every Saturday we in camp and we on them corners. You damn right we go up against them because it's a spiritual war. These knuckleheads don't know what they're talking about. All right. But let them prophesy on. We don't worry about that. Christ didn't worry about them false prophets neither. Because it only goes to show how strong we are. Okay, so I'm going to go to the first Maccabees. Let's see. First Maccabees chapter 14 and verse 9. If you don't have the Maccabees, just listen up. First Maccabees chapter 14 and verse 9. The ancient men sat all in the streets, communing together of good things. The ancient men, the old men, all right? Ancient men. They sat in the streets communing, talking with each other in this time. And if you're familiar with the book of Maccabees, you know that Maccabees was fierce. So was his son Judas, all right? They were fierce and won many battles against our oppressors. They unalived a lot of our oppressors back in that time when they were attacking the children of Israel, okay? Communing together of good things, and the young men put on glorious and warlike apparel, all right? This is warlike apparel. Warlike apparel. That's what we wear. You understand? We ready for war. We ain't sitting around dressing up like pimps in some old pastor suit. Pastor, what's the difference between a pastor and a pimp? A pastor and a pimp, they look the same. They wear the same type of apparel, all that soft stuff. They ain't ready for war, real war. They gonna slide in them damn gators. They gonna slide in them Stacey Adams. They gonna get their jackets ripped up off them. You understand? The manicured hands and all that. We the rough men of God, man. Christ has an army in heaven, and he also has an army on earth. It's called the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, under the commanding general, Yohanan. And I'm priest officer 1000 Shadow Rock. You understand that? We have rank and order up in this school because there's rank and order in heaven as well. Michael is an archangel. The other angels are angels. You understand? Michael's above them. He has a certain rank. So does Gabriel have a certain rank. Okay? There's order because there's order in heaven. We follow God, man. Stop listening to all that nonsense out there, man. There's a lot of nonsense out there. You can go listen to them if you want to. Nobody's stopping you. You can get up off this channel, do what you got to do. But if you hear, you're going to learn the truth. And you're going to learn something good. And I'm going to say, Shalom, Shem Yahweh Shabbarakatah. All right? To all my folks out there, Yahweh Shemala, Thaba Shem Yahweh Shai, for the sisters out there, man. get y'all with the truth, man. Okay. Understand that. So now back to this. All right. Marcus Orozco, you said shalom. I'm gonna correct you right now. That's all right, but you got to put an A on that. Don't put an O on that. The O is the white man's word shalom. We say shalom in this truth. Shalom. All right. That's the correct Hebrew. All right. And I ain't picking on you necessarily, but you came on to say that, brother. Welcome. But shalom. Shalom, brother. That's right. Okay. So now let's get back to I was at verse 9. The young men put on glorious and warlike apparel. The young men of Israel, they had their war clothes on, man. Back then, they had their war clothes because we had all enemies. We've always had enemies. We were always surrounded by heathens. If you look at Israel and you look at the land, you'll see the land of the Edomites. You'll see the land of Moab. Moab are Chinese people. Edomites are your so-called white man. All right, your Donald Trumps and your MAGA folks. All right, and your Democrats and Republicans and all those folks in those sundown towns and the folks over in them good neighborhoods. All right, those are Edomites by race. Okay, so Ammon, and then we were surrounded by Ammon. Ammon is Japanese people. Canaan, those are African people. We were surrounded by all of our enemies and all of our heathens. Okay, that's what's up. And you welcome, brother shitting TV. You welcome. And so it was apparent for us that we were gonna go and wander off to these other nations and start trying to be like them. We always try to be like them, and they always try to be like Mike. They always try to be like us. You know, they say be like Mike. Y'all know there's Michael Jordan and all that. But, you know, they always want to be like us, man. As much as they hate us, the Korean people are braiding their hair, kinking their hair up, trying to say rap music, trying to talk like us, walk like us, dress like us. It's no wonder who the kings of the earth really are, who the leaders of this earth really are, the ones on the bottom. Because you want to look like us, walk like us, talk like us, act like us, but you can't be us. And you don't want to come to the ghetto. You don't want to come to the barrio. You don't want to come to the reservations. You don't want to come to us in our times of our hardness, in our problems. You don't want to put us first. You just want to act like us and be like us to show that you cool. You ain't cool. You're a culture vulture. You steal other people's cultures. They're not your own culture. That's not your culture. You know what I mean? Hispanic folks got some of the best food out there, the best looking women out there. They're the hardest working people. You understand? They fed this damn nation with the fruit, the vegetables, and all of that, but you want to deport them now. You understand? Same thing happened in slavery. You separated our families when we got off that ship. Stripped brothers from their fathers and daughters from their mothers and children from their dads and their mothers and put them on different plantations, worked them, ate them, because they got that book, The Delectable Negro, shows how they were eating us. They were lynching us. They were lynching Mexicans too. Understand? Them signs said no blacks allowed, no Mexicans allowed, and no dogs allowed in the South. So don't get it twisted. That Hispanic brother and sister, those are my brothers and sisters in this school. That's what our teacher taught us. And we have a perfect brotherhood in this school. That's our pedigree. We look out for each other. You know what I mean? We don't look out for each other like you see in the street like Pookie and Ray Ray. We don't look out for each other and try to screw each other's wives and try to do all that nonsense and backstab and talk about each other and hurt each other and try to, how you say it, front off on each other, try to act like we're the best one and all of that. No, it ain't like that. Here is brotherhood. Here is where you're going to learn your true heritage, your true culture, to get those dreadlocks out your hair. Understand? To to stop eating that shrimp, crab, and lobster, and oyster, and turtle soup, and rabbits, and coons, and octopuses, and all that nasty stuff, and sharks, and all that stuff. You'll learn what to eat when you come in this school, because we do Levitical law. We teach you Levitical law. Learning these things right now, me putting this out here like this and showing you that is the topic of this class, because this is how you're going to survive World War III. Because you cannot, the big hit is you cannot survive it on your own. You can't survive it following and being protected by the United States Marines and the Air Force and the SEAL Team 6 and what do we have when I was in the Corps? Force Recon and the Army and all of that, man, and the Proud Boys, because the Proud Boys are ICE. ICE is the Proud Boys, by the way. All right, they ain't gonna protect you. They ain't gonna protect you because they ain't gonna be able to be protected. They better get on that front line and start fighting before them bombs get here. Because them bombs is coming here. Them drones are coming here. Those troops are coming here. Those planes are coming here. Those destroyer ships are going to be right on the coast, the Pacific coast and the Atlantic coast. You understand? It's coming. You cannot escape that. You better have your heart in this truth, in this word. Get in this class. Keep coming to this class and the classes that we have, because we're all in every state. We're outside of the state too. Come in and report and say, I'm little Joe from Kansas City. I'm checking in. All right, check in and put it in the chat, and then report to the camp leader in your state so that you can get credit and get your Hebrew name, and then start, staying long enough to get your test, man, so you can become a priest such as myself, and learn and teach and learn and fight and put your brick in the new kingdom of God. Put your brick in that new building, that new Jerusalem that's coming from the sky, man, as said in the book of Revelation, man. That new Jerusalem that's coming to the sky. Each and every one of those gates is guarded by an angel. And it's only the 12 tribes names are written on the 12 gates of the city of New Jerusalem. So you tell me, how the hell can any other nation be saved when their name ain't even on that? Their name is not even on the New Jerusalem. It's not Moab. It's not Esau. It's not Ammon. It's not Canaan. It's not Ishmael. It's not Elam. Elam are the East Indians. Ishmael is Arabs. All right. Canaan is Africans. Ammon is Japanese. Moab is China. Talk about saying we don't know what we talking about. Edom is your so-called white man. Those names are not on the 12 gates of the New Jerusalem that's coming when these wars are going to be over. When sorrow there won't be no sadness and no affliction in this land, and no unalive and no liars and none of that junk. When the truth is going to hold, when the truth is going to be prevalent, when the truth is going to be everlasting, their names won't be there. You'll be there, black man. You'll be there, Hispanic man. You'll be there, so-called Native Indian man, because the Lord saw your affliction, man. He saw it, man. He saw it when they called me that N-word. He saw it when they called you the red man or whatever. He saw when they called you a wetback and all that. The Lord saw it and also the evil deeds that they did, more importantly. He saw that. He saw when you didn't get that job, when you had to feed your family, when it was the last effort and you couldn't feed your family, and you're stuck in poverty and stuck in famine, and stuck in these hoods with no property, homeless. You know what I mean? The Lord saw that, man. They didn't get away with nothing. Just like you got them Epstein files. You understand? More, they used to say it in the AA classes, the NA classes, more will be revealed. That's one of the sayings they used to say in Alcoholics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. More will be revealed. You understand? So more will be revealed in this time. Epstein, all the big names, man, you're going to understand that is the son of perdition, he is going to be revealed. As according to prophecy, according to the Bible, the man of the son of perdition, that sinful man is going to be revealed. That real sinful man, the one that's running this earth, you understand, is 666 of them running the planet Earth. From the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergs, you understand, the Rockefellers, those ones that's running the church and running these Illuminatis and all of that. Yeah, more will be revealed. You understand? And it's going to be no doubt. You're going to realize where the truth is. You're going to come running up in these schools. You better pray to the Most High God that you'll be able to find us. You may not be able to find us at all, because there's going to come a time when we're going to stop prophesying. You understand? And where you're going to be at with that glittering sword. You're going to be with that you're going to be with that invasion that's coming to these waters, coming to this place. Okay? Now let's go to the book of Zechariah. The book of Zechariah, chapter 14 and verse 12. Zechariah 14 and 12. Okay? And this shall be the plague. Y'all know what a plague is. A plague is a virus. A plague is like the COVID-19. It's like the monkeypox. It's like herpes, gonorrhea, syphilis. They got all kind of stuff going on now. The measles are having a comeback now. They got stuff that they can't even explain anymore. That there's antibiotic resistive. It resists all the antibiotics you could ever get. You still just gonna have it in your flesh, burning you, eating you from the inside out like parasites. But this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord shall smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. All y'all finna get it. Every time I turn around, I see a woman, she around me, she gonna clutch her purse like I'm gonna rob her, like I want her damn money. You know what I mean? All the people that told me I wasn't qualified for the job. You understand? When I came out of school and learned the whole damn thing and had about a year or two of experience in that field, didn't give me the job. All right? Because of the color of my skin, my origin. Yeah, okay? And all of them that shot Trayvon Martin, Akai Gurley, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, all of them, Rodney King, okay? All of them that did all those things against us, man. And we finding out now they're still hanging us. I saw incidences, it's like within the last 2 years, there's at least 10 hangings, 10 lynchings of so-called Negroes in the South and in the North. Okay? They're still lynching us. They're still probably eating us too. You understand? I have a book in here called 100 Years of Slavery. 100 Years of Lynching. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you what the book looked like. All right, I'm back. And realize I have the book right here. Of course I do. This is what it looked like. 100 Years of Lynching. Look at America. It's red. All right. And in here it talks about all the lynchings. Not all of them. A lot of them that have happened in just to turn it. This one happened in the New York World Time. There were, there's a little paragraph. I'm on page 164. There were 61 lynchings in the United States in 1922. Okay. According to the records made public today by the National Association for the Advance of Colored People, that's the NAACP, of these, the most ironic was the burning to death of 3 Negroes in Curving, Texas on May 6. On May 6, says the report. The triple lynching was so horrible and affair that the association sent an investigator to the scene. Damn. When we say our oppressor is the devil, we really mean that. The Esau is a devil, him and his children. They're the devil the Bible speaks of. Okay? The triple lynching was so horrible an affair that the association sent an investigator to the scene. The men were burned at the same stake by a mob of 500 men for their alleged implication in the murder of a 17-year-old white girl. Our investigator, Mr. Dan Kelly, a native white Texan, found that the girl had probably been murdered in the course of a long-standing feud between her family and another white family. All right. That's just one of the paragraphs in this book. I did classes on this previous. If you're just tuning in, it's not the first time I referred that book or taught out of that book. I taught out of that book alone. Okay. So it's important that you know, man, our oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? It's no wonder why those glittering swords is in the air. We're at the book of Zechariah, chapter 14 and verse 12. Okay, I'm gonna read it again. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord shall smite the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. Okay. Now, back in the day, there was a commercial that came on. And remember, America's terrible, man. It's terrible. They unalived a lot of people, man. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that's in Japan. Okay. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they bombed the experiment they used the experiment on that land and those nation of people to exercise the H bomb or the atom bomb, the hydrogen bomb, the atomic bomb, nuclear bomb. The flesh shall consume away while they stand on their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes. Your eyes will melt in your head. All right. And their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Your tongue will melt. Your eyes and your tongue will melt. Your flesh will fall off the bone as if it was an oxtail. All right. These, if you study nuclear destruction, nuclear radiation has the same effect on human beings as what I just read. That's why the Bible is so intelligent and it's so important that we come back to the Lord. Turn your way back to the Most High God, Yahweh. Come into this school. Learn what the laws of Leviticus teaches. Learn that you should have been in Purim last night. Learn that you should be going to Passover in Houston, Texas. Learn that you should not be eating shrimp, crab, and lobster. And by the way, this scripture right here, when it talks about the flesh and all that, they had a commercial back then. I remember seeing it. Okay. It was in the 70s. I remember there was 2 or 3 little girls running from that nuclear bomb. They were running in the streets and they showed it on the news. They showed it. And you saw the flesh falling off their legs. You saw the flesh burning off their legs. The verse was verse 14. Zechariah, not Zachariah, but Zechariah. Zechariah. All right. Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. I'll read it again. Okay. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand on their feet. and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. That's thermonuclear destruction. That's the glittering sword. Understand? That's the lake of fire that your pastor told you that people are going to walk and jump into and fall into a lake. No, it's coming from the air. It's coming from World War III. Somebody's going to push that button, and the other ones are going to push their buttons, and they're going to go back and forth. Some might hit, but the others are going to come and hit their targets. And that's your lake of fire. You will be burnt in there, coming against this truth, coming on this class, talking all that nonsense, going against General Yohana and his officers and captains and officers and young men, troopers and young men and sisters. You're going to get burned on with them because you're going to think that you're going to get, that America's going to save you. You think that you still thinking that this so-called white man is going to give you 40 acres and a mule. I mean, not 40, 40 acres and a mule. And that, and for all you others, that white picket fence. The American dream is gone. If you didn't notice it, flash bulletin, the American dream ain't never really was the American dream. It was a lie. It was a big lie. You understand? They got richer, you got poorer, you worked harder, you got sicker, you had health problems, and now you're in the grave. Now you're homeless. Now you're starving. Now people don't respect you. They don't know how to run a nation. They don't know how to be merciful. They don't know how to let go the children of God. Just like the Pharaoh didn't let go of our ancestors, didn't let go of the Hebrew Israelites in Egypt. All right? They didn't let go. That's why the Most High had to smash them and drown them in the Red Sea for chasing us when we were fleeing from that land. We were getting the hell out of bondage because we were making the pyramids for the pharaohs. Because the new pharaoh's name is Donald Trump. The new pharaohs is Carter, Nixon, Lyndon B. Johnson, George Washington. Those are the new pharaohs. America is Egypt. Why do you think they have a pyramid on the back of a dollar bill with an all-seeing eye at the top, at the capstone? Understand? And give you that illusion in God we trust. Y'all don't trust in God. It should be in swords and money we trust. In nuclear bombs and money we trust. You understand? That's what it should say on there. All right? So that glittering sword is coming. Those nuclear bombs is your lake of fire. The lake of fire that you're going to get burnt in for listening to these pastors, for listening to Eddie Long, listening to Jennings, listening to Creflo Dollar, listening to Joel Osteen, and listening to these phony female prophets, female pastors. Don't you know a woman is supposed to be silent in church? Don't you know that a woman, if she wants to learn, she should learn over, ask her husband or ask a priest, a real priest? The only priest you're going to find is here. You understand? She should learn from us what she should do. She shouldn't be out there teaching this Bible, for it is a shame. And I'm paraphrasing from the Bible. You can Google that later on your own. Rewind it and Google it later. Okay. So these are the things that are coming to America, man. You know, they already they cut off the Hormuz, that bottleneck in the Middle East. That bottleneck that brings all the oil back and forth where they transport. That's the highway for the oil. They just hijacked that bad boy. They cut it off. They shut it down because of this wars. Gas prices just went up. Folks is at Costco, right here in America, at Costco, fueling up right now. Yeah, it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. It's on and cracking. Uh-huh. There's only 3 wars in the Bible. Let me take y'all to that. There's only 3 wars in the Bible, by the way. Let's see. I'm going to get right to it in a minute. You know, when they say wars in the Bible, what is war? How is war written in the Bible? It's not written war in the Bible. Okay. We're going to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 14, chapter 11, and verse 14. Okay. It's not written like you think. Revelation 11, chapter 14. Okay. Now it says right here, the second woe is past. Okay. The second woe is World War II. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly. This is going to come so quick, it's going to make your head spin. It's going to make your head spin. It's going to come so quick, it's going to make your head spin. And it's going to be a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth and scraping of nails, just like they did in the time of Noah, when Noah got on that ark. You talk about false prophecy. When Noah got on that ark, he warned y'all in the beginning. He said that there's going to be a flood in the earth. The Lord told me there's going to be a flood. He commanded me to make this vessel, and they were laughing at him. They were partying. They were doing all those things. And then the waters rose. Then the waters rose, and there was weeping and gnashing of teeth. Like, damn, I should have listened to them. I should have listened to them. I knew some of the prophets. I should have listened to. Yeah, you should have listened to us. You should have researched us and what we say, man. We are transparent in this school, man. You could see through this school. You could see what we're doing. Getting paid. That's how I could tell it gets more and more ridiculous every year, every month, every day. More and more ridiculous on what these folks is trying to say. They haven't even studied us. Okay, Smokers, you saying you just confused on Moab. Doesn't he come from Lot's daughters? Excellent question. How? And they Japheth and came from her. How can they and they be Japheth? I didn't say that they were Japheth. I didn't say Moab was Japheth. Moab, when you go back, read the story of Lot one more time. Moab and Lot. Lot gave his daughters. This was incest. This was his daughters. This is what happened. His daughters thought it was the end of the earth. They thought, because Sodom and Gomorrah, and by the way, America is Sodom and Gomorrah too. America is 3 things. America is ancient Egypt. America is Sodom and Gomorrah, and America is ancient, is the daughter of Babylon. All right. Remember those 3 things. Now, Lot took his family out because the angels told him to hurry up and get out of here. We're going to destroy this place. See, they destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because of homosexual, because of LGBTQ. All right. Those people wanted to have intercourse with the angels that came to inform Lot that he should be getting out of that, getting out of there. That's how nasty they were. That's why you got now, America is the same way. You got the Epstein files. They had intercourse with those little girls, them little boys. It was just disgusting in the sight of the Lord and in the sight of all of us who know the truth and who have families and daughters and sons. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, man. We can't wait till it all be revealed. It's going to be revealed. All of it's going to be revealed. So this is what happened anyway. So Lot went to escape. They gave him the orders to get out. So the thunderbolts came from heaven and burnt Sodom and Gomorrah to the ground. Burnt and destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And Lot, remember, Lot's wife got destroyed too because they told her to follow directions. And just like a sister, or if she was a sister, just like any, our sisters these days, they don't listen to their man. So she turned around, had to turn around and look at the destruction, and she turned into a pillar of salt. And by the way, they had a thing on National Geographic that salt is still there. That big pile of salt is still there in the land. Okay, now getting back to Moab. I'm sorry I'm going a long way around this, but I want y'all to get to understand it. So the daughters thought once everybody was destroyed and they escaped and they were with their dad, they thought that there were no more men on the earth, which wasn't true. Their daughters were foolish. So they got their father Lot drunk. They had sexual relationships with their father, and then they got pregnant, and that kid was Moab, and the other kid was Ammon. So those are the fathers of Chinese and the fathers of Japanese. That's Moab, okay? And Japheth, by the way, is not from Lot and all of that. Japheth was Noah's son. The Japhites, we call them Japhites. Whenever they say ites, like Israelites, Moabites, Ammonites, Canaanites, Jebusites, all of that, Girgasites, ites means sons of. So the sons of Ammon and the sons of Moab. Sons of Moab are Chinese people. Sons of Ammon are Japanese people. Okay, that's where they come from. And Japheth was one of the sons of the three: Shem, Canaan. Was it Canaan? Canaan, Shem, and Japheth. I know Shem and Japheth, but I might have got the second one wrong. Okay, but I believe it's Canaan. Yeah, it was Canaan or Cush or something like that because he was African. He was the father. Those are the fathers of the Africans. Japheth are the fathers of the Pacific Islanders. That's what Japheth is. That's like your Tonga people, your Maori people, your Samoan people. Those are Japheth's sons. Okay, and you're welcome, brother. All right, a Yondabar in the Hebrew. Okay. You push unity. That's right. That's right. Smokers shouldn't TV. Smokers shouldn't TV. You are on the right track. You're on the right track, man. And it's imperative that you stay the course and continue what you're doing. Stay and get your Hebrew name. Are you out of California? If you're out of California, Captain Gadalhar is your camp. It will be your camp leader. But keep coming to class and call our school and stay in this truth, man. Okay. The verse, was that a verse that said that? What verse? I don't understand what you're saying with that one. But I'm gonna get back on get going back with this war. Understand that that's thermonuclear war. Okay. I didn't finish reading Revelation for what I know, from what I was saying. Okay. It was Revelation. Okay, that's the third. It cometh quickly. We did that. We did the thermonuclear. Okay. So we know that the third woe, because woe means destruction. It also says, the Bible also says, woe to the pastors that I was just talking about, Eddie Long. I didn't say, what's that other one? Those nasty child molesting adulterers, money thievers, liars, those pastors. And it says woe to them. The Lord said destruction to them as well. Okay, woe means destruction and war, man. But that's what war breeds. What's the goal of war? To obliterate your enemy, to annihilate your enemy, your foe, to unalive your enemy, to destroy. So the third destruction is World War III. The second destruction was World War II. That already happened. Understand? World War III cometh quickly, man. And we time is really, really cut short now because all the prophecies are coming true. And if you do, watch the real General Yohana on YouTube. His last one, what he was talking about. Okay. The real war is damn near here. It's really here. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to stay in this truth and stay solid and stay correcting your brothers and sisters if they're going astray. Getting them and learning this truth and being transparent, because that's all America is. America's leaders are secretive and covert, secretive on the down low. You know, just like a LGBTQ, down low. They're in the closet. They're not telling you. You know, you got Freemasons. Freemasons don't come out and they're not transparent and tell you everything that they're about, which is what they should be doing. You should be learning the truth, man. The truth stands in the earth. See, we're coming to a time now where the truth is standing in this earth. But a war has to happen for this to happen. A war has to happen for the children of Israel to be free, man. I'm tired of all of this, man. I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of getting disrespected by my own women in my own tribe. They're more disrespectful than a daggone black woman to a black man. A Hispanic woman to a Hispanic man. We know it happens in other races, but it happens very prevalent with us. Our sisters say it's better off not to have no man. I don't need no man. What do you mean you don't need a man? This war is happening. Who gonna fight for you? When it comes to your doorstep, when they come and try to kick your doors down and try to unalive you, what, you running to the door? Are you gonna run to the door and take that bullet? Are you gonna run to the door and get bum rushed? Or you gonna run to try to defend me? Well, I don't know about y'all. I'm not sending no woman to do my fighting. I don't send women to do fighting. The General Yohana does not send women to fight. He sends the men. That's our job. That's what we're supposed to do. A father protects his family. A man protects his woman, not the other way around. You know what I mean? So let's get back in it. Okay. First Maccabees, I'm gonna go back to the book of Maccabees in the Apocrypha. I'm gonna go to Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 1. The book of Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 1. That's the first Maccabees, because there's two Maccabees. First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 1. Then his son, okay, let me see. Now I'm going to go to First Maccabees 2 in verse 1. We are going to go to 3 if we got time. First Maccabees 2 in verse 1. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Jorib from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. He had 5 sons, Johanan, Caddis, Simon, Thesai, Judas, who is called Maccabeus, Eleazar, called Aran, Jonathan, whose surname is Apus. And when he saw blasphemies that were committed in Jerusalem, he said, woe is me. He said, destruction to me. Wherefore was I born to see the misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, into the sanctuary, into the hand of strangers. Her temple, verse 8, her temple has become as a man without glory. Okay. I'm going to come down to verse 10. Okay, I think I said verse 9. Verse 8. Her temple is become as a man without glory. Verse 9. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets, her young men with the sword of the enemy. How many of our young men have been shot down in the streets? I just said Akai Gurley. You know, what about Philando Castile? Got unalived in front of his family. What about what's her name? Breonna Taylor. They came while she was in the house. I think she was asleep, and they unalived her in her house. Okay, the modern day sword is a gun, by the way, if you haven't guessed it already. All right. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. Verse 10. Now listen up. What nation had not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? What, in other words, this is the children of Israel. What nation, having got our spoils, they set up shop in our neighborhoods? Give you an example. They set up shop in our neighborhoods. You got Arabs selling chicken. You got East Indians in the 7-Elevens. You got who else you got? You got Koreans in the liquor stores. Okay, you go to anywhere in Mid-Wilshire, you see a whole bunch of Koreans selling liquor to you. Okay, you got the Chinese selling you pizza, but they're in our neighborhoods. Where's your businesses, this black man? Where's your business, Hispanic man? Where's your business, so-called Native Indian man? They came in and got our spoils. They just like they did back then. They came in and got her spoils. What nation hadn't had a part in our destruction? That's why you're a black man, you on the bottom. Because they took everything we have. They took our culture. They rapping, they break dancing. Oh yeah, you could do it. You could do all that. Not that we like it any so much. You could do all that, but that came from us. You bit. You understand? You a biter. In other words, you a copycat. Okay? What nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? Now, this Matthias saying all of this back in that time because he saw the destruction and he said, woe with me. Destruction to me to even see my people, man. It troubled him to his core of what these nations were doing to us, what our oppressor was doing to us in this time, and has been doing really, and has been doing ever since. Okay, we see it. Her glorious vessels carried away. All right, let me go down to verse 14. Then Mattathias and his sons rent their clothes. See, it was a custom when you're mourning something, when you're in mourning, you rent your clothes, you rip your clothes because you like, oh, damn, I couldn't believe that happened. This happened. Okay. They mourn very sore. Verse 15, and this mean while the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city of Modin to make them sacrifice. Verse 16, and when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. So many of the children of Israel came to see what was going on. Okay. Verse 17. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on the wise. So they're trying to be real slick. That means on the wise. Thou art a ruler. See, they knew Mattathias was a leader. Mattathias was a leader, a brave, strong, valiant man of Israel, a man of war. Understand? Thou art a ruler, an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. All right. Verse 18. Now therefore come you first and fulfill the king's commandment. It didn't say come and fulfill the Lord's commandment. It said come and fulfill the king's commandment. That's what they were saying to Mattathias. Okay. Like as all the heathen have done. So they want him to be like a heathen. Okay. Yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain in Jerusalem, so shalt thou and thine house be in the number of the king's friends. Your house is your family. Okay. Just like earlier we were talking, and this knucklehead was on here talking about things about what we don't know. Okay. And I was saying to stay in context, because government, mountains can mean government, trees can mean men. In this case, your house means your family. For example, my name is Shadow Rock. The house of Shadow Rock is my family. It's the family of Shadow Rock. So this was the family of Mattathias. Okay, let's continue. Such as remain in Jerusalem can become the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. All right. Let's see what Mattathias said about this. Remember, he just rent his clothes. He just was so sorrowful and in mourning right now. Verse 19, Mattathias answered and spoke with a loud voice. Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion and obey him and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers. And see, that was their goal. Every king was always trying, every heathen king was always trying to get us to worship him. They were always trying to get us to worship him. Trump wants us to worship him. You understand? But see, the real law, if you in this school understand, the real law is you are not to put a king over you. In other words, you're not supposed to vote. Your king is Christ if you're in this school. My king is Christ. That's who I would vote for if that had to be done. Our king chose us. The Most High chose us. We didn't choose him. And he placed the king over us, who is Christ, who is coming back to this earth real soon. And you're going to find out that he's a Negro. You're going to find out that he's a black man. You're going to find out that the angels are black. You're going to find out that God himself is black. Yeah, you heard it here first. All right. So he want to get them to follow his commandments. Okay. Fall every one of them, everyone from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments. They talk about their heathen king's commandments. They're not talking about the 10 commandments. They're not talking about God's commandments. You understand? That's what they wanted Mattathias and his sons and his family to do and his people to do at that time. Okay? But this is what he said. Yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. Mattathias wasn't going for it, man. He wasn't going for that nonsense. He said, we're going to follow the covenant of our father. Okay? Verse 21 says, God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. Okay? Verse 22, we will not hearken. Hearken means to listen. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion either on the right hand or the left. Verse 23, now when he had left speaking these words, look at what happened. I'm going to tell y'all what happened during this time. But this was a time of war at this time as well. Okay? Verse 23, when he had left these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all. So there was an Israelite came while Mattathias was speaking these words. And this is what happens so much. It happens now real bad. And I'm going to give you all the examples when we finish reading it. Okay? To sacrifice on the altar. See, the king pulled down the altars. You get a chance, read the whole stories in the Maccabees. It's a very good story. He pulled the altars down and they took the holy vessels and they stole, like I said, they stole everything from us, man. They stole everything out of the temple of David, out of God's temple. All right. And they put up their altars. They actually put up swine's flesh. They put up pig meat up there. Unclean meat, knowing that Jews we don't eat pig. Okay. But they put one of us came up there to put a sacrifice on that stinking, ungodly, unrighteous altar. And this is what happened. Okay. Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of everybody. He went in front of everybody to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's commandments. Okay. Which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal. When Mattathias saw this sellout, this coon, see, that's the example I was going to tell y'all. He was a sellout and he was a coon to the king. All right. He didn't want to keep the laws of God, so he put his sacrifice up there. And he was from our people. And that happens so much in our society now. All right. We got coons, we got sellouts, we got Uncle Toms, all of that. All right. He was inflamed with zeal and his range trembled. Boy, I'd be just like that too. I would have been pissed. You understand? I would have been pissed off too. Okay. Neither could he forbear to shew his anger. He couldn't forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him right upon that altar. So while he was giving up that sacrifice, my brother went up there and sliced him up, unalived him. You understand? Because he was full of zeal for the truth, zeal for the word, zeal for saving our people, zeal from keeping us from practicing these ungodly, barbaric, insane things that the heathen do, that king does. Okay. And for example, that's just like celebrating Christmas. That's just like celebrating New Year's, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Easter, all of that, Memorial Day, all of that, your birthday, Mother's Day, Father's Day. That's what heathen do. Okay. So he was full of zeal and he slaughtered that dude right where he stood. Okay. Also the king's commissioner who compelled me to men to sacrifice, he unalived at that time. Okay. The altar he pulled down. So he unalived that sellout, that Uncle Tom, that coon, and he unalived the commissioner who told him that he should join the king. And he pulled down that pig swine off the altar because he believed in God. He believed in the Most High. He believed that Christ is king. He believed in Mosaic law. He believed in the Torah, the teachings, the first 5 books of the Bible, and all of the Bible. Understand? And that was an insult. That was a direct front and insult to the Lord God. And he did what he was supposed to do. That's why he got a chapter in the Bible. There's a Maccabees 1 and a Maccabees 2. You know what I mean? That was also known as the Hasmonean dynasty. That was the Hasmonean dynasty. Because this was a big deal. This was a war. Okay. So verse 27, and Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So verse 28, so he and his sons fled to the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. See, and that's what they did. They got the hell up out of there. Okay. Verse 29, then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to live there. For all those who believed in it, they went down to the wilderness and they lived there too. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to go down a little bit. I don't want to go through the whole thing. Let's go to verse 32. They pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. Now, this is the sidebar into the story. What happened was there was about 1,000 of them, 1,000 of our people that didn't want to follow that law either. And they went into the wilderness. But on that day, on the Sabbath, the enemy came against them to fight. And that 1,000 didn't want to fight the enemy. But what happened was they got unalived by the enemy. The enemy unalived 1,000 of our people because they didn't want to fight on the Sabbath. Now, if you come to ISUPK doing all that nonsense and we have to defend ourselves, we don't give a damn if it's the Sabbath or not, because we know that the Lord say you got to fight to defend yourself, and we will unalive you if we have to. We will defend ourselves. Okay? These folks died. And another reason why they died was because they didn't follow them. These 1,000 so happened did not follow Mattathias because they didn't believe in that rank and order. A lot of these fake Israelite groups out here don't follow the rank and order, so they don't want to come under the command of Jeriana and come into school and get a rank like I have. They don't want to follow another man. They don't want to follow the orders. See, you need to have order and discipline in order to be a prosperous nation, in order to be a nation that can defend itself, in order to defend your families, okay, in order to be directed properly. You understand? You need that. But they didn't want to. And look what happened to them in ancient times, and it's going to happen in this time as well. Because there's a lot of brothers, they might have the knowledge, but they don't want to follow under the command of Jeriana. In other words, they don't want to humble themselves. But that's in the Bible too. You're supposed to humble yourself. Most all of the prophets humbled themselves before they got to carry out God's orders and carry out God's commands. They had to humble themselves. Humility is a righteous trait, a righteous character, a righteous characteristic in a person. You should be. Okay? Look at all these nations meeting together, these high people meeting together, talking about all these airstrikes, man. It's all over the news. And man, look, that glittering sword, something just crashed. I'm looking at the news now as I'm teaching this class because it's right here. And I'm looking at, look at these swords. They shooting. They out there shooting. This war, they out there shooting. All right? They getting down out there, man. What are you going to be doing? What are you going to be doing? Are you going to trust in the Lord the way you're supposed to with all your mind, all your heart, and all your soul? Are you going to trust in the Most High? Are you going to step away from that shrimp table? Are you going to tell your girl, no, we're not going to Red Lobster? Why? Because that food is unclean. Don't y'all know a roach is a cousin to a shrimp? Shrimp and roaches are cousins. Lobsters and scorpions are cousins. Crabs and spiders are cousins. Look up in biology. Look it up. The Most High he knew what was healthy for us and what's not healthy for us. He knew what was clean and what was unclean. Okay? So where we at? All right. They pursue, I'm at 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 32. They pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. And they said unto them, let that which you have done hitherto suffice. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and you shall live. So they were still trying to tell them to get with the king when they camped against them and they went to war with them. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandments to profane the Sabbath day, which was the right thing to say. So they gave them battle with all speed. They sped up the battle. Then they heard that. That must have angered the hell out of those heathens. Them heathens said, yeah, let's get them. So let's kill us, unalive them now. Quick. All right. Verse 36, howbeit they answered not, Salaki, they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they hid. But they said, verse 37, but they said, let us die unalive, all in our innocence. So they didn't fight back. See, because it was the Sabbath day, right? They were Israelites. They didn't fight back against this fierce battle because it was the Sabbath day. And they didn't have Mattathias to tell them, y'all better stop that nonsense and get busy. All right. But they said, let us die in our innocence. Heaven and earth shall testify for us that you put us to death wrongfully. Verse 38. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle to the number of 1,000 people. See, I told you it was 1,000 Israelites, okay, that got unalived for not wanting to fight on the Sabbath, for not fighting on the Sabbath day, and not having Mattathias over them. Verse 39, now when Mattathias and his friends understood thereof, they mourned for them. Right sore. They sorely mourned for them, man. Mattathias felt bad. He felt real bad, to say the least. Okay. They mourned right sore. Verse 40. And one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth. That's right. Damn right. If we don't fight back, they're going to root us out of the earth. They're going to kill all of us. They're going to unalive all of us. Okay. Verse 41, at that time, therefore, they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath, we will fight against them. All right. Against him. Neither will we die all as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. Okay. We ain't gonna be like our brethren. You know, I would say, we got saying in this school, we ain't no Christians, man. You hit me, I'm hitting you back. And mine's gonna be stronger than what yours was. Because mine's gonna shake the earth when you get socked. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put that much into it. Put my whole mind, body, and spirit to defending myself. And I'm going to say a pro for us defending ourselves. That's what we going to do. Okay? If we have to. We're not out there to do all that. We're here to teach. We're here to do the right thing. But don't test it. They got that favorite saying on the internet, FAFO. All right? Verse 42. Then came there unto him a company of Assyrians, who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the law. Okay, the mighty men came up with Mattathias. They said, yeah, all right, brother, we with you. Let's get in. All right. 43. Also, all they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them, and were a stay unto them. Verse 44. So they joined their forces and smote sinful men in their anger and wicked men in their wrath. See, they got down and they smoked them. They unalived those with their anger, those wicked men. Okay. But the rest fled to the heathen to succor. That means succor means they fled to survive. Succor means to survive. You ran in other words, they ran for their life. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. All right. So lock you on that, so now I have to take a little break. But as it's written, just like I left off, they had to they had to run away from our people. Matthias and those who joined him were serious and zealous about keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments. And they did not want to follow the king's commandments at all. And there's various stories in the Bible about situations that happen like this. These are the reasons why our people have been persecuted. These are the reasons why our culture was taken from us, that our language was never taught to us, that we were carried away as slave on slave ships. Understand? That we were discriminated against, that they had the pig laws, Jim Crow laws, you understand, against us. These are the reasons why we were unalived in the streets. These are the reasons why we got all these gangs that had this fight against each other in the prison systems. Okay? And I call, like somebody else said in the chat, about unity since he's coming to truth. You damn right. Unity for the Black and Hispanics, because if you don't do it, the Lord is going to do it for us. And he's going to unalive a lot of us until we get the idea and get the notion and get the understanding that we're supposed to join our brothers and that they are our brothers. Every Latino on this, or every Hispanic around here is my brother. Every Native Indian is my brother. So-called Native Indian, that's my brother. And I'm going to treat him accordingly, just like I treat my priests. All right, my fellow priests and my brothers and sisters in this school. You understand? We are to come together. You damn right. It's unity. Okay? So this is what's going down. This is what had happened in the book of Maccabees. I'm going to take it up a little bit more. Take it a little bit further. Okay. I went to let's go to verse 45. Then Matthias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altars. They were going around pulling them damn sinful altars down. They were shutting them down. You understand? And y'all get a look at my captain Tazaryak on his channel and on Cross the Line Radio, Captain Katazar. We be pulling down those pastors. We debate those pastors. They debate those pastors and win. They have a record of 1 million to zip of victories against those pastors in this truth. You understand? We ain't playing. Just like Matthias wasn't playing. We're not playing. Just like King David, he wasn't playing neither. He was a man of war. Just like Gideon, he was a man of war. Even Abraham killed 2 kings. And the first tithe, he unalived 2 kings. And the tithes, when you pay your tithes, the first tithes that were ever paid, the 10% of his increase that he got off those slain kings that he slew, he paid it to Melchizedek. Abraham did that. That's tithes. So he wasn't just so soft man. You understand? He wasn't no man that wasn't ready to get down at the drop of a hat. He was a man of war. All right. And so was who was that? I'm about to say Joshua. Joshua was a man of war as well. All right. The Most High told him, don't look left, don't look right, look straight ahead and be not afraid, and go and slew them people and take that land. And that land is going to be yours. He took it from the Canaanites. He took it from the Amorites. He took it from the Jebusites through war. Okay? That's what's coming to this earth. Exactly, my love. No cowards. Damn right. Con, Michael. That's right, Michael. Love, you on track, man. You understand? Let that spirit be in you, man. No cowards. Let that spirit be in you, black man. You know, I remember when I was first coming in this school, General Yohanes had a little thing. They used to have it on the theme songs. They had him saying it, shouting it when he was in camp, saying, "Where the soldiers at? Where the soldiers at? Where the soldiers at? Where you at? Stop being a keyboard warrior, man. We're not no keyboard warriors. We're trained men. We were trained for battle. Battle is upon the face of the earth now. War is on the face of the earth now, so that we could be free, so that we could stop war. You go to war so that you prevent war, so that you can have peace. Because our oppressor will not let us have peace. He has not let us have peace since those 13 colonies. Since Egypt, the pharaohs didn't. And you know, America, and by the way, our oppressor is fascinated with Egyptology. He's fascinated with Egypt. When you go and look at Washington, D.C. and the structures, they have pillars in their buildings in D.C. and in every courthouse that you see. You go to the courthouse, they got those long pillars, right, in that structure. Do you know those pillars? You know what they are? Those pillars are actual structures from ancient Egypt. And you tell me America's not Egypt? With that pyramid on that dollar bill and that all CNI and the capstone? You tell me that's not? You're mistaken. And they're still trying to dig up them bones. The Lord destroyed Egypt. Egypt ain't coming up no time ever. Just like America is not going to come up no time ever again. They will never be in rulership on this earth. Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. You know what I mean? This is what it says. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges. So who's running the earth right now? The wicked. The wicked is running this earth right now. All right? Been running this earth. Well, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. So what is the rulers of this earth? Wicked. Epstein's. Wicked. Ukraine, Russia, Czechoslovakia, Iran, Iraq, the Khomeinis, all of them. Wicked. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Dubai and all their princes. All right. He covereth the faces of the judges. I have a book in there. There's a book called The Russian Icons, and it shows Michelangelo, or one of the artists. He was painting all of the ancient pictures, all the ancient art that showed Christ was of color, that showed that Paul, Peter, James, the apostles were of color. The disciples were of color. They were my color. Understand? So he used white paint and covered the faces of the judges. That's what this scripture is saying. You understand? He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? If not, where and who is he? If he's not our oppressor, then you tell me who's doing this in the earth. Who's in charge of the deportations? Who's in charge of the White House? He covereth the faces of the judges to lie to you, to tell you false truth, to give you false hope, to tell you that the American dream and the white picket fence is all going to be you. You're going to own that house. Well, you never own the house. You pay the whole house off, but you got to pay taxes every month or every year or something in order to keep that house. If you don't pay them taxes, that house goes back to the bank. It doesn't go to you anymore, but you paid that house off in full. That's wicked as hell. All right. And covering the faces of judges, that's a lie. That's a liar. That's someone who does not tell the truth. Let me tell you what Christ said about someone who don't tell the truth. We're going to go to the book of John. The book of John, chapter 8 and verse 44. The book of John, chapter 8 and verse 44. Christ said this, ye are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. It's a murderer from the beginning. And abode not in the truth. Abode means to live. He didn't live in the truth. He unalive you and he lied to you because he don't live in the truth. Because there is no truth in him. All right. I'm going to give you one more precept before I end this class. All right. But I'm going to finish this verse out right here. Because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. When he speak a lie, he speak for the benefit of his own family. He speak of a lie, he ain't speaking in your favor. He's speaking in the favor of him, his people, and his family. And that's so our oppressor. That's the leader, the wicked leader that we said in Job 9 and 24, the previous verse. All right. He speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. He's good at that. He's a liar and a father of it. That's who Christ said. That's who Christ said to lie. He was speaking to the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and the Romans. That's who he was speaking of. Our oppressors' fathers. Because just like the fathers, the sons will do. The sons will pay for the sins of the fathers. Because that's the way it goes. That's in your bloodline to be a liar. That's in your bloodline. All right. I'm going to give you one more as I go, then I'm going to end this class. We're going to go to Ecclesiastes 1 and verse 15. We're going to go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 15. Where are we at? And it says, that which is crooked cannot be made straight. This is your oppressor. This is your oppressor. He was made crooked. It cannot be, he cannot be made straight. And that which is wanting cannot be numbered. Okay. So there it is. He was made crooked. He can't be made straight. He was made to be a liar and a murderer. See, he's not of the necessarily the bloodline of Cain. He's not Cain. Cain slew Abel. He was crooked. You know, he was bloodthirsty and all that. He unalived Abel. But Esau has his spirit. The spirit of Cain is in Esau. And Esau was made crooked, and he cannot be made straight. Esau is your oppressor, who is right now bombing Iran, Iraq, what is that? Arabia, Qatar and all of that, Arabia, Oman and all of that. He's bombing them right now. That's the wicked one. And it's time for him to put them Proud Boys and put all them ICE folks on the front line and put your sons and daughters on the front line like you did ours. You know, we fought in your wars. You had the Harlem Hellcats in 1939 came back from World War I, an all-black battalion who was victorious. They were fighters. Those were Israelites. You had the brothers in Vietnam. I had a personal friend in Vietnam, came back with a Purple Heart. Understand? Look at what he said. He told me personally, when I was in my 20s, he told me, he said he'd rather have a brother with him in the jungle than anybody else. He would rather have a brother next to him throwing down, because we got that spirit of war as well. Put on your armor, brothers and sisters, man. Put on your armor. Put on your armor with me. Come in this school and learn the truth, man. Come in this school and change your life. Live differently, man. Stay away from this world, man. Be an enemy to this world. Because the Lord said he who is a friend to the world is an enemy to me. And we came out of this world, man. We took our hearts out of America. We don't got to leave America. We don't got to follow what these oppressors be telling us to leave if you don't like it. We built this country. We built this country. You wouldn't have skyscrapers if my native Indian brothers didn't get up on those beams and put them steel beams across to make the structures for the Empire State Building, for the Gray Bar Building, for the City Court Building. You understand? You wouldn't have those buildings there. You wouldn't have the greatest city in the world. In the world. Because Native Indians, unbeknownst to a lot of people, they're not scared of heights. That was, I believe, was the Mohawk tribes, all right? The tribes in Canada that came to New York and they built those skyscrapers from the beginning, man. Helped build the Twin Towers, okay? There wouldn't be no America if it wasn't for the blacks who was in the cotton fields. Alabama was the best agricultural nation, the best agricultural state in the whole world. They cornered agriculture at one time with all the cotton that we picked, that my ancestors picked on them fields, man, and bled on them fields and were unalived on them damn fields. So don't tell me to go nowhere. My Lord is coming to get me and my people out of this damn nonsense, man. He's going to come and get me and my people out of here. And he's going to destroy this earth when we up in them chariots, and we're going to see the fire in this earth from the nuclear bombs going off when they're unalived. Because we kept the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of the Most High God Yahweh. Understand that. Understand that. Yeah, you shut yourself up, ignorant. Shut yourself up, Brenda. You ain't scared of nobody. Who the hell you think you is? Somebody mama? Who the hell do you think you are? You out of order, woman. Nerve. You got some damn nerve. You got some damn nerve coming against a priest and prophet of the earth, man. You got some damn nerve coming against the ISUPK. You're going to get unalived in the lake of fire like the rest of your oppressors, because you love that man. You love these people in this world. You love the world. And by this, I condemn you to this world unless you turn your ways, because the Most High told me to tell you that. Ignorant. I bet you ain't picked up a book in all them days, but you've been at a beauty shop and you're too busy trying to be like a man. And you're too busy trying to rule a man. You shut yourself up. Know what I mean? And with that, I'm going to say shalom.